Good morning and welcome to Life Without Shakers, and today I'm in Ennerdale, just outside Ennerdale Bridge on the edge of Ennerdale Water, and I've got a nice little walk in store planned today. First of all, I'm going to head out for about 4 miles or so along the beautiful shores of Ennerdale Water to pick up Haycock first of all, which you may recall I meant to do on my previous walk and had to delay it because of high winds. From Haycock I'm going to travel along the ridge to its isolated neighbour Caw Fell. And then from Caw Fell it's returning along the ridge, along Lank Rigg, Crag Fell and Grike. And it's going to be about 15 miles I think in total, with the additional distance to pick up Haycock. I'm delighted to say that the weather forecast appears to be wrong. It was supposed to be fairly dull with patches of rain, but as you can see it's a beautiful, beautiful morning, and I hope to make the most of that before the weather inevitably turns this afternoon, which it most likely will. So let's get going. And here is Ennerdale Water. Magnificent sight. I'm going to be making a fairly decent pace, I'm going to hope, along the lake edge today. It's flat and I want to get up in the hills as fast as I can before the weather changes. But don't worry, we'll be exploring this beautiful section of the Lake District at a more gentle pace later in the year, because I will be doing the coast to coast. Or indeed, by the time this video airs to YouTube, we'll probably have already done the coast to coast. Yeah, I've been along here before and I'd forgotten about this scrambly bit. I think this is Robin Hood's Seat, it's called. It also occurred to me that even though it'll be the back end of August, the next time I come along here on the coast to coast, it might well be a horrid wet day. Whereas today, obviously we've seen Ennerdale at its very best. So, yeah, I suppose we should make the most of that. I must admit, it's been about 15 years since I last walked along the shores of Ennerdale, and I'd quite forgotten just how much up and down and scrambly this path was. Good homework, really. Better that than blindly wandering along with a big book crack on later in the year and not expecting some of these ups and downs. Oh, that was a bit shorter than I thought. It's just under 3 miles, and that gate there marks the end of Ennerdale Water. So, next up is the big climb of the day up to Haycock. I think I'll just stop for a bit of a break before I do that and recharge my energy. Take on them. Typical. Once again I've managed to find myself on the most overgrown path I could possibly have chosen. It's definitely the right way, according to the map. Turns out that properly overgrown bit was actually slightly off the path, which I missed somehow, but not by much. I'm back on it again, and thankfully out of the woods and almost on the open fell. Right, I've just made a horrendous realisation. Actually, the footbridge I passed a long way back, I should have actually gone across. The footpath I want is on the other side of this valley. I've been following the wrong stream, so I need to retrace my steps through all that woodland and go up the right path. Don't know how much longer that's added to my walk, probably at least an hour. Brilliant. Okay, take two on that bit of the path. Oh, I can see on the other side of the valley there. That's where I got to in the wrong direction. So, yeah, maybe only cost me about 45 minutes, not quite an hour. Quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. Still annoying though. Oh, the climb has levelled out for a little bit. Oh, it wasn't exactly steep, it was just unrelenting. It seemed to be endless. Luckily I can now see the top of the ridge. I think Haycock is this first one, just to the left of me. Hopefully. Oh, finally reached the top of the ridge. But Haycock still looks a long way away. So this nasty looking outcrop here to get over first. Oh, it's a tough old climb, but I think I'm up. Suddenly there's no more up. Just need to find the cairn now. Oh, at last. It's taken just over 7 miles and just over 3.5 hours. But I finally made it to the first of today's fells. This is Haycock, 2,618 feet. This is Wainwright number 14 of the Northwestern Fells. Haycock rises in a massive dome on the Wasdale and Ennerdale watershed, and its comparative neglect by walkers must be ascribed more to its remote position on the fringe of the dreary and unattractive moors of Kinnyside and Copeland than to its own shortcomings, which are few. The fell indeed has all the qualities of ruggedness and cragginess characteristic of the Wasdale Mountains, and the approaches to it have charm of surroundings not usually associated with such rough terrain. Despite its considerable height, however, Haycock is not rooted in valleys, being instead hoisted on the shoulders of supporting fells of lesser altitude but greater extensiveness. Haycock is a giant in stature, completely dominating the head of the valley and unchallenged by other peaks. Here at least it is supreme, it cannot be neglected. Oh, honestly, I thought Haycock was tormenting me for a while. With the winds, on my last visit when I tried to get up it from the Sea Talon side, we're going the wrong way today, but I finally made it. And what a view out towards the Irish Sea, towards Sellafield, always dominating the view from this side of the Lake District. Right, definitely time for a break and a spot of food. But yeah, luckily this is the high point of the walk and it's all, relatively speaking, downhill from here. Okay, just about made it back to the top of the climb up from Ennerdale. Next up, Caw Fell, which I think is that one right in front of me. And, well, Unfortunately, this bit of the walk is a nice broad grassy plain, which is a bit featureless if you're looking for a bit of interest, but if you've just had a long hard climb and you're trying to make up some time, it's perfect. So it would appear that this big cairn does indeed mark the high point of Wainwright number 15 of book 7. This is Caw Fell, 2,288 feet, and it is very difficult to tell what the high point actually is. It's just broad and flat. Never mind, call it this. Wainwright says, Caw Fell, like many of us who lack a good shape and attractive features, objects to having his picture taken and is not at all cooperative as a subject for illustration. From no point of view does the fell look anything other than a broad buttressed, sprawling and corseted graceless lump with a vast flattened summit, similarly devoid of a single distinguishing landmark. Yeah, I think that's a fair description. It's just a flat, featureless plain. Not much of a view either, other than back towards Haycock and round towards the fells on the High Star Range on the other side of Ennerdale. Right, let's keep moving. Well, after a long, tough climb up to Haycock, which seemed to take forever, it ended up taking no time at all to get back from Haycock to Caw Fell. Got a bit of a break now. It looks like at least 2 miles from here to Lank Rigg, which is the next of the fells for today. You can see the ridge we've got to walk along. We go down in this dip, up the other side, and then all the way around the ridge to Lank Rigg. I have to say, I have a feeling this section of the video is going to be very short because frankly there isn't a lot of things to film. It's incredibly featureless. Oh, Sellafield again. Okay, coming up to the turn out towards Lank Rigg. Once I get there, it will definitely be the final turn for home because Crag Fell and Grike are very close to the end of the walk and also quite low down compared to the fells I've done so far. I kind of want this next little mound to be a Wainwright just because of its name. It's called Wope. It's not a Wainwright though, it's just a mound with a funny name. Oh. Half out Wope, looking back towards Caw Fell. You can see where I've come along this ridge. It looks like what it is, a bloody long way. And finally, this is Lank Rigg, 1,775 feet. This is Wainwright number 16 of the Western Fells, and Oh, I have to say it's a mean little fell, this one. It's only a small hill, but it's treacherously steep, especially after 11.5 miles. The hardest climb of the day so far. And then when you get to the top, you see the trig point, and then there's this big cairn, which looks like it's slightly high up, but I'm not sure if it is or not. So I've no idea if I think the trig point might actually be higher up. But this cairn has a much better view. See what it's put here. Wainwright says ridge walkers on the more frequented western fells will occasionally notice the isolated summit of Lank Rigg appearing on the skyline, and almost certainly will need to refer to a map to determine its identity. For this is a fell most visitors have never heard of and few know sufficiently well to recognise on sight. The map will confirm further that Lank Rigg is an outsider, beyond the accepted limits of Lakeland, too remote to bother about. If Pillar and High Stile haven't yet been climbed, there is admittedly no case to be made for this humble fell. But walkers already familiar with the district might well devote a day to this lonely outpost of Kinniside. They will do so with a special advantage, if of an inquiring turn of mind for things ancient. A column on the summit shows that the ordnance men have a regard for the place, and Lank Rigg is, after all, within the Lake District National Park boundary. View is pretty good from here, actually. Can't quite see the Isle of Man, but I'm surprised if you could do on a clearer day. Oh, finally made it back to the top of Wope. Not very far, but it's every bit of much of a tester as a much bigger fell after such a long distance. Now, I need to work out how to get to Crag Fell, which I think is that one there, just across this dip. I'm feeling that's going to be another killer of a little climb. Good thing, however, is that while it may be a test of a climb up to Crag Fell, Grike, the last fell of the day, is just next to it on the end of the ridge, and the way down to the car park is halfway down this ridge. So yeah, once I get to the top of Crag Fell, hopefully all the hard work for the day will be done and I'll only be about a mile from the car. So this is it, the last climb of the day, and gosh, I wasn't expecting a track running along the base of Crag Fell. Must be for forestry work or something, but unexpected anyway. So this is Crag Fell, Wainwright number 17 of book 7, 1,710 feet approximately. Crag Fell is a fine abrupt height, prominently in view on the approach to Ennerdale from the west, its configuration being such that it may easily be, and often is, mistaken for Pillar by those who have not studied their map sufficiently, the illusion being strengthened by the conspicuous excrescence of rock on its north slope, which seen in profile might at a glance be thought to be the famous Pillar rock. This comparison is a compliment to Crag Fell because Pillar is in fact a greater mountain by far, and its rock much more impressive than anything Crag Fell can show. Yet the north face of Crag Fell, falling sheer into Ennerdale Water, is an arresting sight. I say that climb up to here wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Nowhere near as testing as Lank Rigg was. I just wonder. A little bit this way, we've got a spectacular view of Ennerdale Water. Magnificent sight. Right, glad to say, just one more fell, but I noticed on the way up that the climb up towards Grike is a little bit more steep than it actually looked from the other side of the valley, so hopefully that's an illusion. And finally for today, Wainwright number 18 of the Western Fells. This is Grike, 1,596 feet. Wainwright says Grike is the beginning of Lakeland from the west. Approaching from Whitehaven, an industrial belt has first to be crossed to Cleator Moor, after which follows an attractive undulating countryside watered by the Ayan, until quite sharply Grike and Crag Fell dominate the view ahead, with a glimpse of greater fells beyond closing in the valley of Ennerdale. Grike, smooth and grassy for the most part, is not a typical forerunner, although the north side overlooking the valley is seamed and scarred with huge ravines, and only its position makes the fell interesting. It's a good viewpoint, and the summit boasts a massive cairn that can be seen for miles around. Yeah, it's actually got a quite substantial shelter. Wasn't expecting on such a small fell. Yeah, luckily wasn't too steep the climb up, slightly further than I was hoping it was going to be, but nevertheless here I am, and it is quite a stunning view. Out again across to the North Sea. Thankfully from here, Sellafield is largely shielded by other hills. The view out towards almost as far as the Solway, and the mountains of Scotland are just visible as well. And at last the path finally starts to go downhill back towards Ennerdale. Coming up on 16 miles now. It's been a lot further than I was anticipating, even with the expeditions to pick up Haycock. That wrong turn at the beginning has been really irritating in many ways. So hopefully nearly back now. That's a beautiful sight, not only Ennerdale again, but also I can see the car park. Hooray! Oh, at last, just over 8 hours since I set off. I'm off the hill and back on the nice flat road, within sight of beautiful Ennerdale Water and the car park, and just about at the end of the walk. Oh, it's been a tough one today. Yeah, trip on 17 miles nearly. I mean, notwithstanding the extra distance caused by that wrong turn, the extra distance up to Haycock was obviously slightly more than I'd anticipated. Yeah, the other annoying thing was everything was just so spread out. It took a long time to get to Haycock. Obviously Caw Fell was right next to it, but then the other three fells were just miles apart, and equally annoying, on most of the fells I had to retrace my steps from the top, come down the same way I went up, which is never quite as enjoyable as when you're doing a perfect circular walk. Having said that, there were some nice views from particularly Haycock and Crag Fell and Grike, and I say the weather has been absolutely perfect today. Couldn't ask for a better day to do a walk like that. So yeah, got lucky in that respect. Anyway, that is nearly that. Only 3 more Wainwright walks to go now. Oh, 2.5 really, because one was only a 6 mile or so across 2 small fells. Just 15 fells to go. Hope you can join me for those. Yeah, and as ever, hope you've enjoyed today's walk. Thank you for watching. As I say, hope you can join me next time. Until then, bye for now.